Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. This last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension, did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike, money's killers, Mike even make the even news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Sports Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up? What up? Welcome into Last Call here on Pub Sports Radio, TGIFF. It's Friday, May the 10th, 6 p.m. You already know it's time for the weekend. We're here to get after it tonight. We got ourselves a massive slate of sports ahead. Tons of MLB action. You know we got 2 NHL games in the playoffs, deep now into these playoffs. And, of course, we've got the NBA rolling out there, the Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets, the game everybody wants to talk about. Let's not forget them Pacers and Knicks are battling. And speaking of battling, if you saw the end of that Boston Bruins-Florida Panthers game, that's going to be a battle tonight. I'm excited to talk about that game as well. And, of course, Edmonton letting down the battle against Vancouver. So lots of great things to talk about in the world of sports, you guys. You know the deal. We got to keep a brisk pace. We don't have a lot of time to get after it. We're going to start with the NHL. We're going to roll into this Major League Baseball card, put the bow on it with the NBA before we bring back. He's back. He was all over the world, and he's back to give us his UFC plays. MMA Jeff's back in action tonight. Going to share a 3-pack for how he's getting paid in the UFC. In the Octagon tomorrow, it should be a lot of fun to finish off the show there. I know a lot of you guys have been cashing with us along the way on the Saturday shows, and we appreciate you for that. We'll give you a sneak peek tonight of what we've got in store for this weekend. Great time to be involved in sports. I hope you guys are as fired up as I am. This week has been a battle. It's been a test. It's a grind. This stuff is a grind when we do it on the daily, but this week particularly felt like, we're in the thrall. Second round of playoffs, always difficult to see how these teams are going to battle out, but you guys have been great. You've been cashing left and right as well. I know, I see it. You guys are copying me in. You're sending me the receipts there. You're sending me your tickets. I love seeing it, man. I love seeing everybody making money. That's what this show is all about. Best place to come back and get them last looks to cook the books. We balance out line movement, cash flow, trends, angles, analysis, everybody's hard work. We shake it all up and we try to pour it into that cocktail glass of cash. So that's what we're going to try to do again tonight. Appreciate you. If you haven't come in here yet and hit the thumbs up, please do so now. Take that time. We only ask you to do 3 things up here on Pub Sports Radio. The first is paramount to any show. We got to let them know where we're spending our time out there, and that is here with Pub Sports Radio. So hit that thumbs up button. Show the respect, show the appreciation, show the support, and let them know we're growing this thing here. Small guys kind of getting off the aircraft carrier, but man, once we get up in the air, we go out there and we strike. So we appreciate you guys taking the time and the opportunity to spend that with us. You know the deal. Grab a pen and paper. There's tons of plays to go over tonight. You're going to want to write down the plays that I have, that MMA Jeff has, the chat especially bringing to the table. You guys are great with the angles and the trends. Your best bets as well. And we're just getting sharper. You guys are leading the charge, the tip of the spear, as they say. And you're doing a great job with it. So last but not least, make sure you throw your plays in the chat. We want to see what you guys are on as well. We're all looking at the same scoreboard, and that is the bookies' pockets. How do we get our hands in there? How do we take that cash out? And how do we move it to our bankrolls? This is a sprint and a marathon. We got to do it on the daily, but we got to keep growing. We got to keep building. And it's paramount. We all work together to get that done. So let's do just that. It's going to be a great show. Let's see what's going on in the chat. We'll do a recap. Again, we'll cover the NHL, the 2 games pop off. Then we'll get into Major League Baseball, NBA, and wrap her up with the UFC. And I see my guy, Joe T, already up there in the chat. Says, let's get that cash. Best bets tonight. He's going back to that first period over. The Oilers and Canucks first period over for our guy, Joe T. Also likes the Oilers-Canucks game over 6. I know MMA Jeff likes them Canadian teams there facing off head-to-head to go over the number. 6 is that tricky number, though, but Joe T says it is going over. He also says the Royals and Angels are going over 8.5, and the Rangers and the Rockies are going over 9.5. and he likes the T-Wolves -20. Someone tell Joe T, I've never seen the Nuggets -20 spelled with a T. Let's go, or at least start not with a T. That'll be fun to talk about that game here. Got to get serious in the NBA here. I think we got some interesting angles tonight that kind of line up with some of the association or assumption of how I thought the games would go thus far. Josh Lower 34 in the house is the Rangers and the Cavs money line last night. Parlayed money line. Thank you. Let's go, my guy. Josh, great to see you back here, my guy. Oldie, love the late Friday MLB cards. Let the tickets come in and see the market develop. Let's get this cash. Yeah, my guy. That's the best part about a Friday late slate there is we get plenty of time to analyze the movement, the market reaction, and then compare it to our notes, our trends, and what our eyes are showing us out there to come up with them winner. Gerald Jones in the house says, happy weekend, pubbing, fam, best bets, Phillies run line, first 5 and full game. Hopefully my Knicks step up on props. Winner Circle says, AO, Pacers team total over 114.5. Denver, Minnesota over 204.5. And he likes the Bruins money line. My guy, Ronnie Crawford. I want to thank you personally, my guy. LG Twins cash last night. The NC Dinos cash last night. I went 2-0 in the overnight KBO action. Thanks to you, my guy, Ron Crawford. Go follow my guy out there on X. Find out them winners to get paid while you're sleeping, courtesy of our guy, Ron Crawford. He's heating up, baby. Subhuman Gaucho says, evening, fellas. Great to see you. And there we go. Speaking of the overnight plays, Ron Crawford dipping in, giving us some early action there. The LG Twins -105 for our guy, Ron Crawford. Gerald Jones says DeVincenzo over 20. Obi Toppin over 10 points there for Gerald Jones. Oldie says, Ron Crawford, hope you're well, sir. All your way, sir. I got it. I'm tongue twisted right now. Juggler 23's here, though, and he's ready to share a trend of the day for us here. It's just the home favorites. Down 0-2 in the series. Game threes are 53-34. That means you play the Pacers tonight. I like that look. I'm in alignment there. My guy, Juggler 23. Ron Muffin says, gentlemen and others. And there's the Subhuman Gaucho play of the day. He likes the Bruins. Panthers first period under a half. No goals in that first period. A little nerfy action, except it happened to be the NHL. I like it. +105. And you see what my guy's doing out there. 24-19. He's +18.02 units. If it's easier, Subhuman, just drop them pushes, man. We didn't lose. We didn't win. It's all good for you, my guy. We know what you're doing. You're busting them up out there. Kenny Wood's in the house. Good to see you, Ken Wood, my guy. Subhuman also, here we go. Shots on goal. I was watching them shots on goal last night, man. Reinhardt over 3.5 shots on goal +124. He's laddering it. Look at this. He's got Reinhardt over 4.5 shots on goal +275. And the shots on goal parlay. Marchand under 2.5. Pasta over 3.5 at +156 from our guy Subhuman Gaucho. We appreciate you sharing it, my guy. I love that alternative look at a way to get some plus money cash. Just get them shots. Let's see them flying out there here. Should see plenty of that tonight. Dan's in the house from down under. What up, Dan? I hope you're doing well, my guy. Oldie says, Ron Lofton, what up? Good luck. Hope all is well your way. And you boys are ready to roll out there. Lots of Rons out there in the chat. Love to see it. There's my guy, RBD420. Says, what's up, Money Mike? I'm on the Panthers Oilers money line parlay tonight. And Nasty Nate says, fun fact, Mike is allergic to undershirts. That's not true. That's not true. I spent plenty of days with the shirt and tie and an undershirt on underneath it, but gotta let it fly, man. When you got the anyways. Rob McMahon says, what's good, Mike Money? Let's do this. And Juggler 23 giving us a bonus NBA trend. There we go. On totals of 220.5 or higher since 2018, the under has gone 35-17-1. That's a 67.3%. And the Pacers Knicks under 222.5 seems to be the play that's indicated there. Love to see it. You guys know the deal. We're looking for them trends that are over 60% cashers. And there we go. 7 out of 10 times we're going to play that thing. It's going to get us to the window. Juggler 23, thank you for sharing. Rogue Energy says, what's up, fellas? Lamont Williams in the house. Mikey, my guy, what's good? I'm here. Max Penn, I see you, Lamont Williams. Let's go, my guy. Congrats. Shout out to you yesterday. Big winner with that first 5 spot there. And you didn't need the half. You didn't need the plus a half. It was easy money. I'm excited. I saw what you're getting into tonight. I like it. And Kelsey says, hey, Mikey Mikester, I'm on the Cubs, Guardians, Reds so far. Need wins 0-3 yesterday. Kelsey says, need an NHL pick. Ron Lofton says, got 3 bets. He's on the O's Diamondbacks game over 7.5, Walker over 2.5 bases, and Irvin under 17.5 outs for our guy, Ron Lofton. He also says 1.5 bases for Walker at plus 145. Remo says, need a best bet. Been busy all day, so no capping anything. I think we're going to have you hooked up, my guy, Remos. You have come to the right spot. You already know that. We appreciate you coming in here. Working all day, looking to gamble all night. That's what we're here to do, you guys. Old E says, that Kelsey, big money pouring in on the Cubs. I like the Cubs team total over on that one. And Lamont Williams, my max bet, Denver Nuggets money line. All right, Lamont Williams. All right. Now, all right. I wish I had a fucking horn. I'd blast it for you. I like it. I like the look, my guy. We're going to talk about that, and I appreciate you coming and dropping that for us there. Rob McMahon says the vodka is flowing like wine here. Let's get that cash. Yeah. Now you guys are talking my language. Coin says, what's up, Mike and chat? Let's have a Friday. Miami's on 1-11 first game of a series spot, but I'm attacking the under 7.5, as you should. The Phillies on the road. Huge under team on the road this year. Perlo Wisdom. Good to see you, my guy. I got to spend some time on screen the other day. That was a lot of fun, that live hockey stream. We need to do more of those, man. When you got just live hockey only, forget the rest of the sports out there. We can keep our eyes on them on the side, but that was so much fun. Good to see you out there, my guy. Thanks for coming in. Kelsey, real deal. Prime says, smash the like, and Man Bear Pigs in the house says, let's go, Mike. Let's make some money. And Subhuman Gotcha says, oh, he meant I got you here. The first 10 minutes under a half at plus 105, but I did play the 0 goals in first period at plus 275. I have a sneaky inclination that game goes way under the mark tonight, but we will see. Pearl Wisdom says Panthers half first period for 3 units out there. Looking to get them Panthers on the board. And Juggler 23 says, Subhuman Gacho, I like your NHL's shot on goal prop bets. Me too. I think that's a fun way. That's a fun way to it. And it's creative. You know what? I love the creativity, man. When you guys come in here and you're sharing different looks, and I love them second period draws and baseball our guy puts out there. I love that uniqueness, man. Everybody can do the same thing over and over, but you guys are working hard to try to find a way to exploit the books, and that makes it a lot of fun. Joseph Alvarado in the house, holding it down in Chicago, the Windy City, baby. Man Bear Picks says, I have a parlay. Canucks money line, Jays money line, Guardians money line, Nationals money line, and the Rockies money line. Woo! That's got to be a nice little payday, my guy, Man Bear Pig. It's got the Mavs money line parlay was gold at plus 1850 yesterday. Oh yeah, dude. That's that Cavs game was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting, to say the least. Rob McMahon says the Nats plus 180, DraftKings up to bet on that Nationals. I love you guys using that 2-bet chip out there. We used it on the White Sox, and shout out to my guy, Subhuman Gacho, and I were talking back and forth. Do we go back in? Now, I don't want to ruffle his feathers, but I did lay the juice down after we talked about it. And it was 3-0. It was maybe 2 more innings later. I got the plus 2.5. It was like minus 130. And I was like, all right, let me I didn't go big. It was just a little swing on it, but we talk all the time about using that 2 up and then going back and jumping in on the other side. And thank you for reminding me, because I did end up getting in there last night. There's my guy, Trey Torrance says, I love this card. Viper MB in the house says, what up, pimp? And there's Keith. He says, what's up, Mike? I'm looking at the Pacers alternate spread minus 8.5 at plus 112. I like that, my guy. 8.5. I think they're going to win this game by 14. 14 is my assumption. We'll talk about it shortly. Perlo says Oilers money line first period minus 135 for 2 units. Old E says Troy Torrance. I see you, fam. Love the ticket count tonight on MLB. Chase Stone 9 says, I'm just going to lurk from the sidelines. I imagine with the top lines switching, that Reinhardt, Emmett, David should have themselves a day. And Troy Torrance says, when I get this type of a feeling about a certain slate, I can't remember the last time it wasn't a big night. That's the confidence we want to see in there. Jay Stone says McDavid. Yeah, I felt like you meant that with Edmonton out there. And here we go. Troy Torrance says, Yanks money line. I'm sorry, Yanks, Phils, and Mariners for our guy, Troy, it looks like there. And Subhuman Gaucho says, hell yeah, Juggler 23. Oldie giving Troy Torrance the shout out and respect. And Lingo Wick. What up, Lingo Wick? It's good to see you up in here. Haven't recognized the name before, so we appreciate you coming in and hanging out. Says Knicks 7.5, Nats money line, Marlins money line. If the book's up tonight, picks. Oh, F the book's up tonight, picks. My bad. That's a crucial difference. If or F. Let's go. And there we go. Josh Lower says Pacers don't scare me. Troy Torrance says, Ian, that's the sharp trap right there. Insane results from our guy, Troy Torrance. We love to see the sharp trap. Love to see all you guys up in here. Let's grind it out. Let's go through this recap here. Yesterday was kind of a minefield of bullshit. I'll leave it at that here. We got the White Sox was a big winner, plus 135. The Nerfy, though, damn that rain delay. Shout out to Joseph Alvarado. He did say that, too, that it looked like it was going to be a rain delay. It was. I don't know that that's what got me, but that got me nonetheless. The Kansas City first five, man, we all took that lump. That one hurt. And that was, I was thinking it's probably my fault. I overbet that one. Every time a win came in, I took a little bit of that win throughout the night, and I just reapplied it to that Kansas City first five. So I owe you guys a winner tonight. The Milwaukee under 8 did not get there either. We did cash the New York Rangers, plus 145. Let's go Rangers up in that series now, kicking ass and taking names. We also got Colorado over 6.5. I'll tell you, the way some of that baseball action went from, and then the NBA, I was like, man, do I cash this thing out? They were offering me 60% of my total win bet to cash out. And it was like 4-1 or something like that. And I was like, nah. And then 4-2, they were still offering me the same number. I almost hit it. I was sitting there and I almost hit it. I was like, fuck that. This game's going over. And it did. So we cashed that thing. Colorado, unfortunately, did take the loss. Wrong sides on that Cleveland. Team total under 99.5. And then the Boston first half under. But the under in the first half, Boston first half minus 7.5. That should be a minus. Boston first half under 109 did cash for us, though. And then, look, OKC just blew it, right? Chet didn't get his blocks. The under didn't cash first half or full game. So that sucked. That's a very disappointing. I hate to start a show off with a bad recap like that, but transparency is the most important currency we have in this game, you guys. And unfortunately, that just means we have to work that much harder to get it back. And get it back, we will. We're going to work together to get this cash from these bookies. It starts now. Let's get after it there. Juggler 23 says no NHL has ever had no NHL team has ever had a 30 shot on goal differential after 3 games and been up 3-0 in the last 70 years. New York Rangers equal I surrender. Shout out to that first that series winner plus 145 is looking it's actually I think a plus 130 was the cash out now. We might as well just let her go here. They're beating them boys up. And shout out to Old E, blessing our action, says, let's fucking get paid. That's a good way to transition into this thing, to get her done. Old E, shout out to you, my guy. We appreciate you coming in, hanging out, and contributing some of that pocketbook you got there to help us build this battleship. Appreciate you, my guy. Thanks for always being here on the regular. All the shows. I see you on all the live streams, all the Jimmy shows, everything, man. It's great to see you out there again tonight. Thank you for coming in and spending time with us, providing a nice little dono on top of that, blessing the action. Troy Torrance says, you want a long shot parlay? Well, who doesn't? Let's get that on the big screen. He says, 3-team money line and under 8.5 Yanks, Mariners, and Phillies. Troy Torrance says the Mariners are the must bet spot tonight. I like that Mariners. I like them -1. I like Woo to get the over 5.5 Ks as well. Kenny Wood says, what's up, Troy Torrance? Love your thoughts tonight. Troy Torrance says, Ken, I'm feeling very confident, bro. That's what we want to see. That fucking put that right on the big screen there. Love to see it, my guy, Troy Torrance. And there's Nasty Nate. Man's got more wrenches than a mechanic. He says the Bruins first period +0.5. Red Sox first 3 moneyline parlays +126. There's a creative way to attack. Boston smash tonight. Boston smash. Let's get into it, you guys. Let's go after this slate tonight. We're going to start it off here. We're going to get right into the NHL. 2 games, then we'll blast through the MLB, hit the NBA, and wrap her up with some UFC action. MMA Jeff is back in town. It's exciting to see what we got rolling here. And let's start off with this first game. Let's get right into it. And I'll tell you right off the gate, I was coin flippy in this spot tonight. Shout out to Subhuman Gaucho, my guy, gifting a Pub Sports membership. I'll raise this glass, but I'll raise the cocktail glass here in just a little bit for you, my guy, Subhuman Gaucho, helping us grow this platform 1 member at a time. Not only is he a member, he's gifting memberships as well. Shout out to you, Subhuman Gaucho. Good dude. Love hanging with this guy, man. Love his insight, his hard work, and his contributions to the cause. Let's go. All right. Let's talk about this game here. As I referenced on the onset, I thought it was a little coin flipping. Now, couple things that have taken place that I do like in this situation, just as far as this game is concerned. First of all, the Bruins aren't fucking around. they're not just going back to the well saying, let's go with the same lineup combination. They have moved some things around there. They've got Marchand and DeBrusque on wingers in that second line with Coyle. I think they need to do something different with Van Riemsdyk. He shouldn't be buried down there in that third line because they're just not getting enough ice time. But I guess the question is, where do you put him? They got Zacha, Geikie, and Pasternak on that first line. Interesting situation, but I like the move. And I also like that they're going back to Swayman. I'm a big fan of the opportunity to go back to this guy here. Look, that last game wasn't pretty. Can't sugarcoat it. 6-1 final. I ain't going to get it done. But, man, was that game intense at the end of that thing. And, I like that there was first of all, I like that they didn't just roll over. I can excuse the 6-1. Simply, it was a 5-1 first game, right? We know that Bruins got that job done in Florida. They split the series, effectively neutralizing home ice advantage out there by taking that split. That second game, though, you could see there was a change. Like after they got beat up a couple of goals on them, they just went to physical hockey. They said, screw the rest of it. Let's just go out there and beat these guys up and start black and bluing them up. And that, in fact, they did. The interesting part about the end of that game, though, was that dog shit Matt Tkachuk situation out there on Pasternak. Now, I love to see the guys battling, but you can't hit a guy when he's on all fours. You can't do it in the UFC. You can't do it anywhere. And that was a dirty-ass cheap shot by Matt Tkachuk. Now, I can respect it. He got caught up in the moment. Fortunately, nobody got hurt from it. But here's what you got going on in the NHL. This guy sat around for 2 days going, who do I have to kick the shit out of this game? Because he ain't getting away with it. That third and fourth line, fourth line traditionally we used to see filled with enforcers. You bring the big dudes out there, they're slow, but once they get a beat on you, you are going down and you're going to take 5 knuckles in the face on top of it. I think that's an issue for Matt Tkachuk this game here. And, because he's such a prolific offensive player, the fact that he's got to kind of keep his head on a swivel to make sure he doesn't get blindsided or cheap shot. This is a situation where somebody might cheap shot the guy and say, fuck it. And I'm not advocating for that in any way, shape, or form. It just to me means that this is a tricky situation for who is their best guy out there. Now, I love the Reinhart looks. I think Reinhart's a guy to be going out there getting the job done as well. But I think it's a bad spot for this guy. They got line changes going on. They're going back to Swayman. They're not losing confidence. They got busted up. But that getting busted up doesn't necessarily correlate to a win the next game. When a team wins after leading by 2 goals or more in an NHL playoff game, they're just 21-35 that next game. Not the advantage you would think. Like, okay, now, Florida's a different breed. I'll give you that. There's no question. Bobrovsky can go back and get hot, but we haven't seen him be as hot as he was in that first round, and his playoff trends are down against his regular season spots out there. Big factors to be concerned with out there. I think this is a lower scoring. I think, again, it's a physical game. I'm still on Boston. I was fully committed to Boston. And what started giving me a little hesitation is this fucking ref report. I don't go to it that often, but there's a clear and glaring situation that everybody needs to be aware of before you go put your money on this Boston Bruins team here. Dan O'Rourke, this fucking headlinesman. This guy's record, I don't know who's got photos on him, but somebody in Florida does, because this season, when Florida plays in a game that Dan O'Rourke has reffed, they're 4-0-1 this season. Those photos haven't just come out this year. They were out last year, too. They went 5-0 last season when this guy was reffing for him. Now, this year, in fairness, Boston's 2-0-3. 2-1 last season. But I thought it 9-0-1 in the last 2 seasons. This fucking guy's reffed a Florida Panthers game. And the thing is, the whistles are in the pocket. He's calling it pretty even. There's no glaring advantage for the home team or one side versus the other side. He's just letting them play. And that means that we're going to see that 5-on-5 hockey. So you got to ask yourself, who's got the better team for a 5-on-5 situation out there? I think that the line changes in Boston, kind of spreading some of that talent out, kind of is conducive to that 5-on-5 game. And so they're trying to make sure that they're not just top heavy. They're trying to spread that talent down the board so that they can play and be in that battle for 5-on-5. The other guy, St. Laurent, he's 3-4-1 with Boston this season. He's 1-1 with Florida. That's the co-linesman there. There's really no decided advantage out there in that situation. But I thought that was worth noting that this ref is 9-0-1 with Boston, with Florida Panthers over the last 2 seasons. So take it for what it's worth. But I do like the fact that there's going to be a little distraction trying, and that distraction doesn't just exist with Matt Tkachuk trying to figure out who's going to try to take his head off. I think it also has to do with the rest of the team saying, we have to go defend, and all their heads have to be on a swivel to make sure that somebody doesn't cheap shot Matt Tkachuk. So I like that distraction in this game. Mission accomplished if that's what they were looking for at the end of that last game. It was physical. I expect this game to be physical. Generally speaking, when refs are letting them play 5-on-5, we got a physical game where everyone's out there headhunting. We don't see a lot of goals. We see the under kind of ring true as well. So I'm on Boston. I got Boston plus 110 in this game. I lean to the under 5.5. It's a minus 120. Kind of want to see what happens in this first period. I love you guys with the looks there and thinking that the under in the first 10 minutes, the under in the first period. I like that. I kind of like that first period to be 0-0. I'm just concerned about what happens in that last minute of the first period. So official for me to launch this game off, to launch the card off tonight. I'm going Bruins. Fuck Mac Kachuk. Fuck everything that goes on with them Florida Panthers. Try to bring a rat up into TD Gardens in Boston on a Friday night in a playoff game after that dirty bullshit last time around here. This barn's going to be lit, and I think Boston at plus 110 is disrespectful. We got Bobrovsky and Swayman, by the way. I know I negated to mention that they're going back to, why wouldn't they? These goalies have just been playing heart and soul hockey right now. Let's roll on game number 2, the Edmonton Oilers, the Vancouver Canucks. This game previously ripped my soul out and stomped on it. I was so fucking heavily invested. I just couldn't believe exactly how it went down. And oh my gosh, the overcash, shout out. I know my guy C-Mac was on the over. I know my guy C-Mac was on Vancouver. I was on Edmonton. Not going to go away from Edmonton in this game. I'm rolling back to these boys here. What do you want to say? It was a bad spot. It was a bad spot last game here. You can't go up 4-0 and blow a game. Can't do it. No room in hockey for it. But there is a trend that rolls out there when that situation happens. When you're not leading till the end of a game and you win the game by 1 point as a dog, you're a dog the next game. You're 4-10 in those spots. 3.9 to 2.6. 3.9 to 2.6 is the average goal score out there. Maybe an opportunity to take a minus 1.5 for Edmonton. But I'm going to take this minus 125 spot. I think Edmonton did us the old favor. The same favor they did for us against them LA Kings losing that game. That next game rolled around. It was just a bow on top of the present for us to go out there and smash them at a low line. So I like Edmonton. I'm going back to Edmonton. I know, C-Mac. I know I'm going back to Edmonton. But look, man, I'm not going to fault them for it. Shit happens, and then you figure it out. Also, road teams that are favorites in the playoffs after a loss last couple of seasons are 38-8. The bounce back is real. Let's talk a little bit about what we heard from the behind-the-scenes situations here. Additional play I'm going to drop in. I'm going to Evander Kane. I can't believe I'm saying it. Evander Kane anytime point is plus 115. Also, wouldn't be mad at anybody that wants to go to Evander Kane anytime goal plus 300. It took 3 dudes to hold him back in the locker room after they blew that last game. He was shit talking and MFing everybody up and down the lineup. I'm going to surmise that he had a lot of money on that game and it wasn't good that they lost it. But nonetheless, I like a guy willing to get up and put the finger in his own teammates' faces and hold everybody accountable, even if you're a pile of shit who played in Buffalo and said you lost the love of hockey but still took that $10 million a year contract. I like this opportunity for him to come back out there, get fired up, get the boys fired up out there. I'm going to Evander Kane anytime point plus 115. I mentioned his goal is plus 300. By the time we get to this game tonight, I may very well end up there, and I very well may end up on his first goal scored situation out there. Regardless if the rest of the team thinks he's an asshole or not, you got to step up when you're putting your finger in other players' faces, and it takes multiple players to hold you down because you're trying to fight your own guys in the locker room after a loss like that. So I like the spark. I like the chip. I like the fact that we got this team on the road again as a favorite off a loss being in a 38-8 spot to me. Give me these Edmonton Oilers. Give me the motivation with Patrick Kane Evander Kane and the squad. He wishes he was Patrick Kane. Nonetheless, that's going to do it for the NHL, guys. Boston Bruins for me, plus 110. Edmonton, minus 125. And Evander Kane to get a point at plus 115. Let's move on to Major League Baseball. We got to pick it up. We got a lot to do. We're already running out of time. Where the hell does the time go out there? Appreciate all you guys rocking Let's Dances. Don't do it. And we got ourselves a new member, Rob McMahon, a new member in the house, my guy, Rob. Appreciate you and cheers, my guys. Appreciate you coming in, spending time with us on the regular. And, of course, being a new member, growing Member by member, day by day, show by show, play by play, man. Let's get this money, my guy. Cheers to you, Rob McMahon. Tonight's going to be a big slate. I feel it. Troy Torrance is fired up. We got donos. We got new members. We got the squad here and growing, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and let's get rolling. We got a lot of games to get into here for the Major League Baseball. Kelsey says, I threw extra money on the Oilers late in the game. Yeah, me too. Ron Lofton says, on the first period, under 1.5 even money. Ice Viking, I tossed a few bucks on the Nucks. Couple bucks on the Nucks, live at plus 850. Damn, that was a nice score. Let's Dance says, don't do it, Mike. Bo Jackson says, we will see if will we see echoes of 94 Rangers versus the Canucks? No, it's going to be the Rangers versus the Avalanche. But anyhow, Bo, we're all entitled to our opinion, right? RVD says, Edmonton in the over 5.5. I like that look. J Stone 9 says, McDavid, 2+ goals, plus 800. Ice Viking says, Oilers going down. Sorry, Mike. And J Stone 9 says, McDavid, most shots in game, plus 750. Damn. I'm going to write that one down. McDavid, most shots. I got to make sure that I write it down a little more legible this time around because as I get a couple cocktails in me and it gets later, I can't read my own writing. Lamont Williams says, we get max bet money tonight. Lamont Williams, I'm fired up, my guy. I appreciate you coming in, rocking with us. Let's transition, guys. We got to move faster here. And that's on me. So apologize for I get excited about this NHL. It's just that's been the cash cow for me, Troy Torrance. And I get excited. I get passionate breaking these games down and excited about how I think they're going to kind of unfold. So 6:40 p.m. Eastern is the first game I've got for you guys on the card in Major League Baseball. And let's start with this one here. We've got the Cubs and the Pirates. This game starts off at a minus 124. Pirates home favorites. 73% of the bets, but only 18% of the cash on these Pirates. Bigger money coming in on the Chicago Cubs. Yet the line has moved 11 cents against them. Then we see a total that opened at 7.5 and it's dropped to a 7. First things first, home favorites on a total of a 7 are 22-4 this season. 22-4. The spots not once, there's 2 spots tonight. Last I ran this thing, haven't gotten a chance to run it since to see if any other 7s have triggered. And it's not where the line is set, it's where the line closes that these trends are all valid for. So the home favorite on a 7, 22-4. That leads me to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jared Jones, man, this guy's firing. 2.63 ERA. He's only 2-3. Hasn't gotten the run support to stretch it out for the W, but home favorites on a 7. The other side of things, we have Assad. Shut Troy Torrance, no disrespect to your Cubs, man. I think it's a bad series for the Cubs. This next game, they're excited about who's going to start as well. Justin Steele going out there against the young up-and-coming Buck. But Jared Jones, man, consistent outperformer. Strikeout line of 6.5. He's gone over the numbers 86% of the time, shutting them down, mowing them out. And then you look at the Cubs on the other side. They're ranking 4th in Major League Baseball in highest strikeout percentages this season. Now, in Wrigley, they're scoring quite a bit, but they're also swinging and missing quite a bit. And that correlates to me to seeing this Pittsburgh opportunity and the Pirates to shut them down. You know, kind of look at the Pirates. They let their foot off the gas against that LA Angels, those last 2 games of the series. You know, this is their 3rd straight home series in a row, though. Home cooking is good for these boys here to start a season off, whereas we've got the Cubs making their first road trip after back-to-back home series starts out there. It's a low number for a reason. I think we do see a pitching duel. Shout out to anybody that's trying to go out there and get some batting props in this one. I just like an opportunity here. I'm going to double dip this thing too for me. I'll start it off for you. I got Pittsburgh money line minus 130. Pittsburgh versus right-handed pitchers, the worst in Major League Baseball. I got it. Coin's got the other one. Says San Fran must be the other spot. Home favorite with a total of 7. So that's going to be my parlay for the show here as well. I'll kind of go out of order. Sorry, T, my guy. Shout out T on the 1s and 2s, keeping it right for everybody out there, keeping the show moving like a well-oiled machine. And I'm throwing a wrench at him. Speaking of the wrench that Nasty Nate's got, I parlayed San Fran and Pittsburgh together. That was a plus 200 spot as well. What kept me off of San Fran is, first of all, the volume of action I have already. Second is the fact that they're coming off that Coors series. What we see with teams that come off of Coors games is they shit the bed their first game back. So I still like them. I very well might get to them. And I do have, in fact, let me just double check and see if I did get to them. I didn't. But Logan Webb is 16-1 on the money line if he's coming off a road start, pitching at home as a favorite against a team that's below 500. This is a great opportunity for San Francisco, again in that home favorite role on a 7. I just don't like that Coors factor. That's what's kept me off of making it a straight play on San Francisco. Again, I might get there later, but Pittsburgh and San Francisco parlayed at plus 200. I'm taking that home favorites total of a 7 parlay to the bank. Let's roll on. Game number 2 in the MLB tonight here is going to be a 7:07 start. And shout out to everybody look, the Astros-Tigers game. We got money, big money coming in on the Tigers, yet this line moved from minus 126 to minus 140 for the Astros. Kind of seems like an Astros spot. The Yankees are dropping like a stone, but man, what Tampa Bay? I don't know, man. The Yankees, those bats have been alive. Now, Tampa bats have been alive as well. I just think that we're getting this Yankees at minus 120, 75% of the bets, 33% of the cash on the Yankees. And the line's dropped 28 cents. Why? Because Taj Bradley's coming in here, untested, unproven Taj Bradley. Clark Schmidt's got a 3.5 ERA and a 3-1. The Yankees made the cutting room floor for me. That was a definite game I want to be involved with. I still might get there. I just don't see what everybody that loves. I don't see the love for Tampa Bay. Someone's got to point me in a different direction, I guess. Then the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Baltimore Orioles. I don't know. That's a tricky one, man. 82% of the bets, 88% of the cash on the O's, yet the lines went from minus 132 to minus 130. Seems suspect that the Orioles open up at home against the Diamondbacks team that has, I guess they clubbed down on Cincinnati. A couple big wins there, 4-3 wins multiple times in a row. It just seems like that's a tricky little spot that I don't want to be involved in either. In fact, I want to see if I can find it really quick. I got to keep my eye on the time for us here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Arizona Diamondbacks 1-15 their last 16 games versus a left-handed starter as well. I just can't get involved with that game. No action for me. I would probably lean to Baltimore. It just seems very public. 82% of the bets, 88% of the cash. Minnesota Twins, Toronto Blue Jays taking flight up in the 6. Here we go with the game that's opened up. The Toronto Blue Jays minus 112. Yet we're down to minus 114. 68% of the bets, 53% of the cash. And Coin says Arizona in a 2-10 first game of a series spot as well. That does concern me as well, Coin. Shout out to you. I love you keeping track of those for us there. There's another one that's coming up. That's a shit team in the first game of a series. We'll talk about that one next. But this Minnesota Twins team is popping off with a total that's gone from 7.5 and stayed straight at 7.5. We've got Kikuchi, the Cooch, with a 2.72 ERA. He's 2-2 on the season for this Toronto Blue Jays. And there goes Joe Ryan, 3.54 ERA, 1-2 on the season. Not getting a ton of run support, but I don't care in this spot for me. Look at this Minnesota Twins team. They had, what did they have, a 12 or a 13? I should have looked at this. Was it 12 or 13 game win streak? They took a loss to Boston. They bounced back and beat Seattle to start the series off before losing again. They've gone back and they went 6-3 and then 11-1 on Seattle again after that. Mind you, Seattle was going out there handling them Houston Astros and beating everybody up in between. So definitely this Minnesota Twins team, despite the fact that they don't still have that 14-game win streak, is still hotter than a pistol. And we look at this Blue Jays team, back-to-back travel situations. It's their first game back from getting dominated. 11-8 against Washington before they go to Philly. They lose 10-1 to that red-hot Phillies team. They did end up winning that last game 5-3, but what happens when teams go on the road and then come back home? An above-average dog on the road versus a team coming back home is 136-89. 136-89 spot for these Minnesota Twins. The Blue Jays, furthermore, are 6-0-1 to the first 500 when Kikuchi's on the bump. And this total is sitting at 3.5. Let me tell you, despite Kikuchi maybe going out there playing strong baseball, the fact that it's an under 3.5 and it's 6-0-1 means that Toronto bats aren't hot either. And to me, this just feels like a bad spot for Toronto. I'm rolling in here with this Minnesota Twins team. I think they stay red hot. I think this is a steal of a price. This is on that borderline disrespectful opportunity. I'm fading away on them Toronto Blue Jays. My favorite team in the AL East, I just can't get there tonight. And then I guess we've got to look at the total, right? Because we've got 7.5s in the book. As far as what prevents this one from being one of those spots for the home favorite with a total of 7 is that the book that uses the benchmarking for the metrics in that first game for that favorite on a 7 is their book is at 7.5. So I know Troy Torrance can validate this too. You're running your metrics, you're skewing, or you're looking at your trends and your angles, your analysis. It's paramount, or it's of the utmost importance you stay consistent with what the X bar is, right? The Y can vary. If the X has got to be the same, the X axis. Not to go too mathematical on everybody here. I was under the impression we weren't going to talk math on this show, but yet here we are. I'm rolling in on this Minnesota Twins. I don't want to fuck with a 3.5. I hate 3.5s. I'd have to go back and look. I might have lost 99% of the time I take an under and a 3.5, but not going to do it tonight. I am going to roll onto this next game, though, 7:10 p.m. The Philadelphia Phillies, the Miami Marlins. And if it's the trap, then fucking put me right in it. Then bury me on top of it while we're at it here. There's no fucking way I'm going Marlins first game of a series in this spot. They're 1-11, their first game of a series. Furthermore, we look at this Trevor Rogers spot here. If you fade Trevor Rogers, you're 39-10 outright in them spots here. And we got the -1.5. It's -110. That's I guess in this case, it makes the most sense to me. We're not losing the home team in the bottom of the ninth. We're getting the home team in the bottom of the ninth. This Phillies team has been the hottest team in baseball. They're number 1 across the board, and it's for a reason. That lineup is stacked top to bottom. Their pitching staff is stacked top to bottom. If you want to hear the numbers, 89% of the bets and 99% of the cash are on the Philadelphia Phillies. The total's gone up from 7 to 7.5 with 97% of the bets and 98% of the cash. Suarez, 1.72 ERA, sporting himself a 6-0 record on the season as well. There's a lot of ways that I look to try to play this thing. I thought about Suarez getting the W, right? Taking an opportunity to play Suarez to pick up the win. I just pivoted back to Phillies. Give me the Phillies -1.5. Dana Dubb says Phillies and an over parlay. I'm not mad at that. I mean, look, the problem that I got with the Marlins right now is you trade off, Louis Arise. Who you left with? I mean, I know there's bats there too. And, shout out to Brian De La Cruz, certainly the brother of Ellie, but the lesser popularized De La Cruz brother out there. But I think they're in trouble. I think they're in real trouble. And I think that they're waving the white flag. Typically we see that Miami finds a way to do some things with pitching, but they got guys on Tommy John this year as well. This is a bad year. Not that there's really ever good years for the Miami Marlins, but you look across the board right now. I mean, I guess I like Josh Bell and Jazz Chisholm as well, but I don't know. These guys just don't have a ton of success. A lot of at-bats against Ranger Suarez. Brian De La Cruz got 13 at-bats, 3 hits. He's only hitting a 231, and he's pretty much the highest on the team with the number of at-bats that he has against him. Josh Bell does have 12 at-bats, only 2 hits. One of them was for a home run and 3 RBIs, but that's a 1.67. You look at the other side of things, Schwarber, Realmuto, Harper, Baum, Castellano, Merrifield, Sosa. I mean, there's just, they don't have Stott in the lineup. I don't like that they don't have Stott in the lineup, but I'm suspecting they feel they don't need him out there, maybe against his lefty situation with Trevor Rogers. I'm rolling in. I got this Phillies team. We also got the wind rolling in at 9.2 miles an hour. So worth a note for you guys that maybe aren't thinking about that over. I just don't know how the Marlins are going to get. Who's going to hit it for them? The Marlins are going to have to put 3 runs in there for this game to go over the total is my estimation. And then that does concern me a little bit for the -1.5. The Phillies on the road are that under team. I want to say they're 5-12 to the under. Don't quote me on that, but if anybody's curious, I can tell you guys down the road. Let's keep it going down the road here. Let's talk about the next game I'm looking at here for tonight's card. Keep her moving. Not touching that Nationals Red Sox game, but I am invested in this Guardians White Sox game here. I like the Crochet story, man. Give me this Crochet opportunity. This line has moved a ton. +118 to -117 for these White Sox. 52% of the bets and 97% of the cash on the Guardians. Everybody's taking them Guardians right now. And the total at 7.5's got all the cash on them, yet it's shading to the under. We're starting to see some 7s out there. 7.5, the over is +102. 97% of the bets and 94% of the cash. How do you want me to get in? I'll tell you exactly how I get into this one. Crochet is a fucking animal. And Carrasco should be fed to the animals. This guy's terrible, Carrasco. He's an over-leaking machine. This guy, I talked about this before. I'd rather get clubbed in the back of the head like the baby seal than have to put my money on Cookie Carrasco. First of all, your nickname of Cookie, I don't know what that sounds like. It sounds like a bunch of guys were standing around in a circle. But anyways, we look at this White Sox team, and then I look at what's going on with these boys. Hey, they picked up that win yesterday. Now, that was the win in the first game of a series to move them to 2-11, first game of a series overall. We were on them. We also used our +2 win coin on these guys. But you look at Crochet and what he's done. The Cardinals and the Twins, we just talked about the Twins and their red-hot bat status. He's held those two teams to 3 runs over 11 innings, 13 strikeouts, and the crucial factor, no walks. No situations where he walked anybody means it's going to be tough for them boys like Ramirez to bounce around a couple RBIs and get in there. The Guardians do have a decent OBA against lefties. They're striking out 22.6% of the time, though, and they're only walking 7% of the time. So you're striking out above average rate against a pitcher who's given out more Ks than he should have against some of the hottest batting teams out there when he faced them. He's not walking him, and you're walking at a really low rate. That's a bad recipe. I decided, how do I want to attack this one? When I looked at the numbers, the first 5 for this White Sox game were pretty juicy. It was like -140, -145. And they got the -0.5, and it was still floating around -110s or whatever. To me, when I look into that line, it tells me that they should win this first 5. And, that being said, Crochet's the starting pitcher. He should be up going into the bullpen situation. We saw the bullpen was able to hang on yesterday in that Guardians game, 3-2 situation. I went to Crochet to record to win at +185. Give me the big score in this opportunity as I looked at this game. To me, I got to get involved with this one. I'm not going to mess with the first 5, the full game. I don't want to take the White Sox at a -117. Risk reward in this opportunity here rather than trying to get cute and figure out where the bomb falls apart. I'm just going to take this guy to go deliver top to bottom. Hopefully we get 6, maybe 6 and a third, and really reduce the amount of bullpen usage that we need out there. So I like this Crochet to record to win +185. Let's keep it moving, you guys. We've got 2 games left on the docket for Major League Baseball. Then we'll jump into the NBA, talk about that Pacers game. Then we'll talk about the Denver game, and then we'll get to some UFC, you guys. So load it up tonight. We're going for Bear. And speaking of Bear, let's talk about this Texas Rangers Colorado Rockies game here. My favorite type of bets, threading the needle. We did it so successfully with that Atlanta-Boston series. We'll run her back. We're going to run her back with this Texas Rangers Colorado Rockies game, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Here we go. Texas Rangers. Bats have come to life. We saw what they did against Oakland. It was the series before that against, was that Tampa Bay? I forgot now. I'll tell you. Well, doesn't matter. Bats are alive. They're alive now with this Texas Rangers team. And we look at these Rockies. Now, we were able to cash with that Rockies in the over yesterday. That was just a bad spot for San Francisco overall. We went 1-1 in that spot, but we still were able to make 2.5 units. Colorado in the over in back-to-back games. This one's a little tricky, though. I think this one's actually a lot tricky. First of all, we look at a couple of things here. The Rockies. Well, let me give you guys the numbers. I get excited about these games, and then I lose my track here. The Rangers opened up at -188. They're now -190. 89% of the bets at 96% of the cash on the Texas Rangers. The money line is the Rangers -1.5. I'm sorry, the run line. The Rangers -1.5, -120. 98% of the bets and 100% of the cash on the Rangers. Everybody loves the Rangers tonight. And look, Colorado just got themselves a win. Are they going to go 2 in a row? We know how bad they are. This total's creeping on up, though. 84% of the bets, 82% of the cash on the over. It went from 10.5 down to 9.5. Now we're starting to see a little buyback to some 10s. It seems like that 9.5 is the concern. 10 is maybe the spot. And what are we looking to do here? We've got Austin Gomber on the bump for the Colorado Rockies. 3.79 earned run average and an 0-2 record out there. 8-28 Rockies. Again, just caught their win yesterday. And then we got John Gray, the Gray Wolf, going out there with Texas. 2.5 ERA. 1-1 on his season as well. I don't need to get too cute about this one here. It's 60 degrees. There's no rain. There's no wind. It's Coors. You guys know the deal. But when I started looking at this game, a couple of numbers that jumped out to me. Colorado, they're 2-10-2. The first 5 money line is a home dog versus right-handed pitching. Not a good spot for them, boys. I think they can get leaky there. That's at least a 1-run advantage there. Then we got the Rangers. They're 10-2 to the first 500 against lefties. That means they're going to hold them Rockies down with this starting pitching matchup. And that's where I looked at it and said, Rockies as home dogs in game one. Here's another one that we can put in the game one radar. Rockies as home dogs game one are 20 and 36. The run number, what they're averaging, I'm sorry, that's an under. That's an under trend. The Rockies as home dogs game one, 20 and 36 to the under. They're averaging 8.5 runs. Crazy to think about that in game one of a series at Coors as a home dog. They're not scoring is what that tells me. And that's where I want to get involved with this Texas Rangers -1.5. We get the ninth inning because Texas is the road team. So I like that -1.5. And then I'm going to roll it in there with the under 9.5. And that's a plus 295 spot. So you guys know we've had pretty good success when we're trying to thread these needles and reading the team that's going to go blank. We got Boston twice in a row this week already. And I think this is the spot for Colorado. I think this play is going to be alive all series long. We just have to keep an eye on maybe the afternoon games in Coors. If the temperature heats up a little bit, if the wind starts going out, maybe then we get a little bit concerned. But for me, this Texas -1.5 and the under 9.5 play, I'm all over right now. I mean, there's a lot of ways. I shared with you guys the first 5 numbers because there's a lot of ways to get involved and get creative with it. I've also got the RBI spot for you guys. The ribeye play of the day is alive in this game here, despite it being an underplay. I got to go to Nate Lowe, man. This guy's been finding his way to the center of the lineup. He's third right now, but his success against any starting pitcher on the line today is amongst the highest on the board. And I mean not just 1 or 2 at-bats. He's got 7 at-bats, 4 hits, a home run, and 3 RBIs against Austin Gomber. It's the lefty-lefty matchup, and he excels in those spots. He's got a 5.71 batting average, a 7.14 OBA situation. His RBI was priced at plus 165. Let me just double check and see where we're at with this game here. Where are we at? Batting, RBI, and wow. He's down to 155. That's the direction we want to see our guy moving. Unfortunately, we lost 10 cents on him, but I'm on Nate Lowe. So give me, this is a triple up spot here. We got Texas Rangers -1.5, the under 9.5 at plus 295, and Nate Lowe plus 155 for the RBI. Last game on the board for me, you guys, here in Major League Baseball. Then we'll move over to the NBA. Then we'll get going with UFC picks and get you guys on your way to the weekend here. Let's look at 9:38 here. I believe this is a late ad that I didn't get a chance to share it with my guy T, but I got to go back to Old Faithful. Old Faithful is the Kansas City Royals when they're off of Nerfy. They're 15-8. The Kansas City Royals going against this LA Angels that have no Mike Trout out there, and they smell like fish because of that situation. We saw what happened yesterday. We got this team here that opened at -108, this Kansas City Royals, 73% of the bets and 92% of the cash on the Kansas City Royals. They went from -108 to -120. When I put this thing together, it was -115. There's continuing to be movement on this Kansas City Royals team, and I think it makes sense. We got Griffin Canning, the starting guy going here for this LA Angels team. He's got a 6.69 ERA. Talk about no run support with a 1-4 record. And we got Alec Marsh going on the bump for Kansas City with a 2.7 ERA and 3.0 record, finding himself that run support. No rain in the forecast, 67 degrees, 7 miles an hour of wind. And that wind is coming straight into the right, I guess, here towards the bullpen. But it's a 9.2 mile an hour wind in. What else happens when we got these boys off at Nerfy? They're 15-8 to the under in a Nerfy situation. So I saw a couple of you guys involved with that over. Not mad at that over whatsoever. Go get it. I just want this Kansas City team. I think this is just a good price point for us here. Taking this road team. Bats are hot right now. We know Bobby Witt, Vinny P, Salvatore Perez. Michael Massey's a guy that I would look to sneak in there for the RBI. Griffin Canning is struggling at best here. That's going to do it for Major League Baseball. Let's keep it going, you guys. We got to get this thing moving because the NBA popping off at 7 p.m. We got the Knicks and the Pacers. What a line. What a line in this Knicks and Pacers game. This line opened at -4.5. It's skyrocketed to -7s right now in the NBA. 39% of the bets and 46% of the cash on the Pacers, and it's moving. This line opened at 225.5. It's down to 222.5. So even 221s out there. with 94% of the bets and 95% of the cash on the over. Big deal for this one here. We know the situation. Who's out of this game? OG Anunoby. We know that is a problem for these New York Knicks. Big problem for these New York Knicks. No OG out there. We saw what they did. They almost didn't make the playoffs when they had no OG Anunoby out there. But on the other side of things here, big game going. Halliburton's got himself the questionable tag. He's got that back injury. Them big guys do seem to struggle with them back injuries as they get rolling down. Let's Dance says Nasty Nate ban me. Ban me because I said the Red Sox, Celtics, and Bruins are all in one. All right. Nasty Nate likes to throw that wrench out there. Let's see what's going on, though, with this game, you guys. I think the biggest thing going on right now is just the injury factor. I mean, Jalen Brunson, big factor for that guy. We saw him go out of the game. Came back, big deal, but I don't know. What are you going to do? This guy's going to go back out there and get the job done. He's hobbled. He's busted up. The entire fucking Knicks team is a mash unit right now. They lost Bogdanovich and Randall, and it's not getting any better now. Robinson and Anunoby out there as well. What do we got ourselves in here is a situation where we've got the home team after getting busted up twice, and they're a bigger favorite that third game at a -5.5 or higher. Playoff specific. You got busted up twice. You're in game 3, and you're a favorite over -5.5. You're 74-46 in those spots here. Give me this team coming back home. This city should be on fire for this team right now. It's pretty much the only thing they got rolling here. I don't expect them to win the series. I think this is the game that they do get. Like some of these teams I expect, I talked about this with one of the hockey teams there. It escapes my mind at the second here, but I expect them to go back home and win the first game in NBA. In some of these, just because of the way these guys and their lack of heart seems to shine through. The NHL, they could lose 3 in a row, go back out there and push forward in the series and win that next game. The Pacers lose this game, the series is toast, and they probably won't even show up that next game. So I think this is the game they got to figure it out for. We see the NBA history shows in situations like this, game 3, after getting busted up twice, now you're a favorite over -5.5. You're 74-46. How much more to say? Give me these Indiana Pacers. I'm not going to try to fuck around too much with the NBA on this game. Once bitten, twice shy with this never bet again association. And, we got to go back and forth. What we used in the past that worked for us was aligning the trends with the cash flow and the line movement out there. I'm not touching the total. It could go to a 300. It could be a 150 spot to me. I don't know. I would probably lean more to the under in this case just because of that significant droppage. Anunoby being out of there. Now, you could say to me that this is that situation where Anunoby, the star player theory, the first game the star player is out, you play on him, but I just don't think that's the case tonight. Kelly V agrees. The Pacers tonight. Juggler 23 says Knicks coach should slow this one down because their players have to be tired playing so many minutes. I totally agree with that read in there, Juggler 23. Perky bumps. So if you want to ban me again, that's fine. But who's banning who, man? What's going on? What's going on? Don't let me catch. Nasty Nate says, Perky, if I banned you, how are you here? Perky says, I repost, share, and support her. Let's not ban anybody. Let's not ban anybody. I don't have to take anybody and smack them with my fucking wrench. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go on to this next game, you guys. Like I said, short, sweet, and to the point for me with this Pacers game. It's moved to 7. Let me just see if that's still the best number. Yeah, you know what? You better get it while it's hot because there's 7.5s out there now as well. So this number is drifting upward. I do agree with this movement. I'm going to take this Pacers team. Very interesting when you look at the numbers. I'm not banning shit. I'm barely looking at anything that's going on out there. Tarek Pieces, what up, Mike? I jumped on the Pacers team total over. I do like that look as well. Let's go after it there, my guy. Craig Wood says Mike isn't out there banning. Kelsey says, be nice, boys. Hell yeah, Kelsey. Let's remember that first and foremost. Let's be nice to one another. Let's beat these bookies up. But let's go after it here, guys. Last game on the card. Let's talk about this one. Nuggets and Timberwolves. Joe T for 3 days has been telling me Timberwolves -20. Joe T, I'm sorry. You're still my friend, but I think it's a bad read. And here we go. This line has a little bit of reverse movement, though. 74% of the bets and 68% of the cash on the T-Wolves. Yet the line opened at 4. It's gone to 3.5. The money line's dropping as well from -172 to -154. As far as the total is concerned, it opened at 204.5. We got 91% of the bets and 93% of the cash on the over. It's gone to 205, even 205.5s out there. desperation city for this Denver Nuggets team. This is another one of those spots. I think the NHL, maybe it's just because these guys have more heart. They play a tougher sport. The NHL is capable of coming back from being down from 3. You're good, dude. The NBA is not. The NBA is not capable of these guys in their gentleman sweeps going off and winning that 4th game. I believe they get swept in this case here. It's my personal bias. I just don't like this product that we see in the NBA. But here's what I know. Numbers don't lie. Only people do. What do we have in a series where you got busted up twice? 2 times you got busted up, combined by over 16 points as a dog. Those teams that have won twice, beaten up the opponent, are 0-9 in those spots, and they're losing by almost 17 points a game against the spread. On average, we're seeing a 111-91 situation out there in favor of that team that's got busted up twice. The Nuggets, if the game went over the previous game and they lost, are 7-3 in those spots. They're 7-2-1 to the over. In game 3s of the NBA playoffs, the home team's up 2-0. Doesn't happen very often that we see it, but only 20 other times the road team won the first 2 games of a series. They're 10-10 against the spread. Not much of an advantage there for going back onto their home court. And the Nuggets are 7-0 against the spread when they scored less than 95 points the previous game and didn't lose by over 35. Big opportunity. The Nuggets are 18-0 against the spread when they're not a 7-point or greater favorite after trailing by at least 18 points the previous game at halftime. That's a 10-0 spot. This was an officiating situation in my estimation out there. We looked at what happened out there and, kind of the lack of, right? We looked at the amount of free throws. The least free throw attempts, I believe, in any of the NBA games out there that previous spot. And these guys were getting rode like ponies. I don't think that's going to be the case again. I think these whistles come out and we see more free throws. That does 2 things for me. That helps close the gap if the dog is down, but it also helps push this total over. I'm going double dipping. We're double dipping in this game here. Originally I was going to go with the 3.5. I'm taking the money line as well. Shout out to my guy, Lamont Williams, coming in there, giving us his max bet. DraftKings has it at plus 142. Here's the thing. We have not seen the spread matter all playoffs. If the dog wins the game, it's outright, with the exception of one. I think there was one Knicks game where the other team covered, but the Knicks won, right? In this situation, though, give me this Denver team backs against the wall. Defending champions until they're taken down. You want to be the king, you got to beat the king here. I like him at plus 142. I'm rolling on this total as well. The total I've got 204.5 at minus 115. I see 205 at minus 110. I will take that spot there. I will get in alignment with my guy, Lamont Williams, because I think it just makes a lot of sense here, especially in that Nugget spot where I talked about, they're not 7-point or greater favorites. They were trailing by 18 or more the previous first half. They're 10-0 against the spread in those spots there. But this margin of victory is just too much. I would think, just let me look at this really quick before we bring on our next guy. I would think that you can, I'll tell you what, I'll look at it while he's on here. I would think you can take this thing. Nuggets minus 12. Seems to me to be a spot to be involved with this game here. Let me just do the quick little ladder check on these numbers for us here while we're here. Since we're talking about it, what the hell? It's Friday. We got the time. Let's look at minus 1.5 is plus 150. It only moves 5 cents to go to plus 2, 30 cents to minus 3 rather. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I would go to the band. My book will only let me take a minus 7.5 at plus 340. I'll be involved in that as well. Just some extra sprinklage for me as we get later in the day here, but I would look to the bands and I would say this is a game. Here we go. Win margin. The Denver Nuggets to win by 17-20 is plus 2,500. The Nuggets to win 21 or more. The sweet spot is right there at that 14-point arena. To win 10-13 is plus 1,200. To win 14-16 is plus 2,200. To win by 21 plus is plus 2,200. That's the 3 numbers you need to hone in on there. The 10-16 spot and the 21 plus. I think the Nuggets kicked the shit out of the Timberwolves this game. And if I got to come back tomorrow and eat that pile of shit, then so be it. I will, you guys. Love everybody coming in here. This is my favorite part of the week. We get to Friday. Friday leads to Saturday. And you guys know what Saturday means here. UFC. Pub Sports Radio. does a great job with the free contest, $100 to enter. And our next guest has won himself back-to-back opportunity. I think it was 2 of 3 weeks rolling. He's back from his travels across the world. Let's bring him on here. MMA Jeff coming in here to talk to us about these next 3 UFC fights he's got lined up for us tonight. You guys get the pens and pencils ready. It's going to be a big weekend tea. Hopefully you can drop the somebody drop the link in there for the UFC contest as well, you guys. Pub Sports Radio does a free $100 contest. All you got to do is enter. Free to enter. Pick the winner. Pick the way they're going to finish in terms of type of finish and the round. And you got yourself a chance to win a quick hundo out of our guy, Jeff Slaughter, the Don Dada that does this thing with Pub Sports Radio. And not to be confused with JM Hockey 19 MMA Jeff. How you doing, Jeff?
Good. Good to be back. Looking forward to the Saturday card here. What's up, Gaucho? Good to see you. Oli. All you boys.
Well, I tried to get T to come on here, but he's camera shy these days. So I wanted him to come on and talk a little MMA with us. But respect T, I love you, my guy. But we're gonna get in, Jeff. I let you know you were gone. T picked up the reins and ran him there with a nice little 3-0. So some big shoes to fill to come back into this thing this weekend. But should be a fun card, though. I was giving it kind of the up and down. We got ourselves a nice little earlier start as well. It looks like it's about a 4 p.m. Eastern start on this card.
Yeah, 4 o'clock Eastern.
So here we go.
Than usual.
First fight that we'll talk about for us here. We got ourselves a nice little prelim matchup there. I like you attacking this prelim here. We got Baby Shark Tabitha Ricci going out there, coming off a loss. Her last fight, Lupita Godinez took her down. Previous to that, though, she had herself a nice little 4-fight win streak. And then we've got Torres, the Tiny Tornado, also coming off a loss. Both these girls coming off of split decision losses, Jeff. Talk to us about this fight and what's going down. How are we getting paid?
I was looking through the stats. This one looks pretty even on paper. Personally, I think Richie's a better fighter, and she's a little bit younger too, up and coming. I think, I was looking at Torres. She's got 19 fights as a pro, and 17 of those fights went to decision, which I was not really surprised being, women's fighters. They tend to not have that knockout power. So, I don't know. She's 11-6 when going to those decisions. So and a lot of them, I think, were split decisions as well. So it kind of goes either way. As I said, I think Richie's a more skilled fighter. And 4 of her last 5 also went to decision. So, she does a bit more wrestling. I see this one. I see a lot of grappling in this one with Richie having more of the ground control. It led me to Richie by decision at plus 110. The minus 145 that her line's sitting at didn't look too bad, but I noticed the over 2.5 shot from minus 420 to minus 440. So public and the Sharks are jumping on the over as well. I certainly didn't want to pay the minus 440, but I do think Richie gets it done, and I think she's going to do it by decision for plus 110.
Plus 110. What's interesting about this one is stylistically, these two girls match up very similar, but we have a long delay out of Torres. Now Pennington, you'll see her listed as Pennington, and she had a baby last year. So this will be her first fight back from having a baby, becoming a mother, and it'll be interesting to see at 34 years old if she still has any gas left in the tank. But I like the look, getting things rolling here at a plus 110 to go by decision. You guys will see in the chat there, and I put it on the screen. There is the link to go in there and enter. Guys, the more we get in there, the more money we can generate to build this contest. $100 is pretty handsome opportunity to cash off the hop, but you have the opportunity to go in there and enter for free. Let's talk about fight number 2. Jeff, we've got on the card here. We've got ourselves a little bit of a showdown as we move on down the card. I think did I go out of order here? I know we've got Woodson, big fight for Woodson coming in here. And Sean Woodson going out there against Alex. Oh boy, don't judge me on this nasty name. Is it Caceres? And Alex Caceres. Bruce Leroy coming off himself a decision loss 8 months ago. He seems to be a decision fighter. And on the other side of things, the Sniper has come out there, kicked ass and taken names, Jeff. It's a short turnaround for Sean Woodson after getting the split decision win over Charles Jourdain. Talk to us about this next fight.
I think Caceres is he's obviously got some experience. He's been around for a while. He's 21-14 as a pro, or else, well, in the UFC, I should say. He's coming off of his last three fights have all been by decision. He was 1-2 in those three that went to decision. So, again, another guy that's been around a while. I don't see him going out there and knocking anyone's head off. I also think Woodson's he's a better fighter in my opinion. I think he's 11-1 with one no decision or one draw, I think it was. He's only lost his one fight by a third round submission back in 2020. So he's been winning quite a bit as of recently. His last three fights also went to decision. He's got a 4-fight win streak. I see this one as a slow start. I think Woodson's going to have the edge in the grappling. I ended up going Woodson by decision, which was minus 105 when I saw it yesterday. So we'll see what that line adjusts to before it starts. But I'm on Woodson by decision. Like I said, I see a slow start in this one, and it's probably just going to be a lot of grappling as well. So the odds makers had the over 2.5 set at minus 305. It shifted to minus 310 on the book I was looking at. Woodson's line shot from, I think it was minus 190 to minus 210. So Woodson's the clear favorite in this one. And I'm on him by decision, minus 105.
There we go. Last fight should be a fun one here for your 3-pack for us here. Diego Ferreira going out there against Rebecki. Oh man, I don't know how to say it, but I can still play it. And these guys look like they might want to. We got kind of a submission artist there in Rabisti is the nickname that he rolls by. Diego Ferreira, 39 years old, approaching 40. I have a feeling I know the direction you're going to look to in this one. And it should be what looks to be a stand and banger. Talk to us about how we're getting paid in this main event fight, but where I should say we're on the main card of this thing here. It will be just a couple down from the main. It'll be the 4th fight left in the evening. Talk to us about this one, Jeff.
As you had mentioned, Diego, he's approaching, I think he's 39, almost 40 years old. He's 9-5 in the UFC. He's lost his last 3 fights, or he's been KO'd 3 times, which his last 2 fights happened to be KO losses. So he had one bout canceled back in 2021. He had one fight back in 2021, and then he had a fight canceled in 2022, and then his last fight was in May of 2023. So he's really only fought once in the last year and a half to almost 2 years. So I think Rabeski, he's on a 16-fight win streak. His last loss was by KO, but that was back in 2014, 10 years ago. So I don't necessarily see him losing. He does like to come out aggressively. He's got 4 first-round KOs. So I actually think Rabeski is going to come out quick, and Diego Ferreira there is going to be, I don't want to say a little rusty because he's obviously gone through a camp and feels he can fight, but I think he's going to be a little bit rusty ultimately. I think Rabeski is going to come out and going to get the KO. I got the Rabeski KO at plus 130. I don't know if you want to get even crazier. I could see first or second round, but I didn't actually officially play that. I'm probably going to look at that as it gets a little closer to fight time. From an odds maker's perspective, the under 2.5 is minus 170. So odds makers are thinking this one's going to happen early. So Rabeski by KO at plus 130 seemed like the way to go.
There we go, the 3-pack. Jeff's going to be in the contest this weekend. Get out there. You'll see it again on the screen in the chat. Your opportunity to come in there and compete against the best of the best we got to offer in Pub Sports Radio. And it's going to be ourselves a fun weekend, Jeff. What do you think here? Let's talk NHL for a second. Edmonton, Vancouver. Who's going to win this game tonight?
I actually think I'm fading you there. I'm going Vancouver.
Big game, big fade. Look, we can't all be right. Some of us are going to be wrong. We'll see how it works out, Jeff. Appreciate you coming in, talking some UFC with us. Tell them what you got going on, where they can find you, and let's get the bow on the show, my guy.
You can follow me on X at JMHockey19, and not a whole lot going on. Like you said, we got I'm sure we're going to be rolling for a little bit tomorrow. I've got some stuff going on tomorrow evening, so I won't be around for the full card, but we should be somewhere around 4:00 tomorrow at the start.
Sounds good. Appreciate you jumping in. Let's get that cash and let's get this 3-pack you shared with us this week. Appreciate everybody coming in, rocking with us. You guys know the deal here. It's time to go to the weekend. Hope you guys all have a great one and make a ton of cash here. We got a big card in front of us tonight, and it's going to be a ton of fun this weekend. Respect. Shout out to all the members out there with Pub Sports Radio. I see Juggler 23, AOD, Nasty Nate, Kelsey up in the house, Kelly V, Perky Bump, Sanderson. You guys are great. We appreciate you coming in, spending your time with us on a Friday night. Go out there, get yourselves a cocktail. Go out there and get yourself some cash, and we'll see you guys back here next Monday to Friday, 6 p.m., Pub Sports Radio. Last call. Go out there, subscribe to the channel, and become a member if you haven't yet. We're listener supporter. We count on you guys coming in, showing the support by hitting the thumbs up button, and if you could be so kind as to become a green member, we appreciate it. Respect everybody. Stay pubbing.